Are you constantly bloated no matter how clean and healthy your diet is? Do healthy foods seem to make you more bloated than junk foods? Does your belly bloat so much that by the end of the day you look 6 months pregnant? Maybe it doesn't even matter what you eat. You're just constantly bloated 24/7, even after drinking water. And all of this isn't just painful and uncomfortable, it's exhausting. You're tired of thinking about it 24/7. You've tried everything and nothing seems to help. And as a result, your bloating is completely ruining your life. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. I'm Tara. I'm a functional nutrition practitioner, and I help women break free from their chronic IBS and digestive issues with a holistic root cause approach. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe and follow along to learn more. And today, I'm breaking down the real reason why you get so bloated out of nowhere, even when you eat healthy, especially when you eat healthy, and what you can do to fix it. Let's dive in. As a nutritionist who specializes in IBS and gut health issues, 99% of my clients struggle with chronic bloating as one of their primary symptoms. Not only does their bloating make them look 6 months pregnant to the point where they can't even button their jeans, but it causes serious pain and discomfort. And it often triggers many other uncomfortable symptoms, such as constipation or diarrhea, fatigue and exhaustion, skin issues, brain fog, anxiety, sleep issues, and more. And all of this completely interferes with their quality of life. Most of my clients come to me after they've already tried all of the usual stuff, such as cutting out gluten and dairy, trying a whole foods diet like Whole30 or Paleo, taking probiotic supplements, digestive enzymes, or other random trendy gut supplements. And while all of those things might have helped them a little bit, their bloating always seems to come back, and it keeps getting worse and worse over time. The truth is that all of these interventions are surface level solutions. And the reason why they aren't getting rid of your chronic bloating is because they aren't addressing the deeper root cause as to why you're getting bloated and having trouble digesting food in the first place. Because when your bloating is uncontrollable, unpredictable, and unbearable, that's usually a sign of hidden GI and metabolic dysfunction going on inside your gut that's going to require a lot more than just a clean diet in order to fix it. So, how do I help my clients actually figure out the underlying root cause dysfunction that's responsible for their relentless bloating? Inside my one-on-one practice, I utilize functional lab testing as a really valuable tool to get a deeper look and clearer picture of what's actually going wrong inside your gut. And if you want to learn more about the specific labs I use for uncovering the root cause of gut issues with my clients, be sure to download my free guide in the description box below. Having worked with countless chronically bloated clients, here are the types of imbalances that typically come back on their functional lab results that are at the root cause of their unrelenting, uncontrollable, frustrating bloating. The first major root cause is dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is an imbalance of the normal flora or bacteria inside your gut microbiome. And your gut bacteria play a major role in breaking down your food, protecting the health of your gut, and supporting your digestive processes. And when there is any type of imbalance, it can lead to a lot of digestive problems and is a common cause of chronic bloating. The first type of dysbiosis I often see is low commensal bacteria. This is when the normal or healthy bacteria in your gut microbiome are at lower than optimal levels or even very depleted. This can contribute to chronic bloating by leading to poor carbohydrate, fat, and protein digestion. It can lead to an overgrowth of bad bacteria and pathogens, and it can slow down your gut motility. The next type of dysbiosis is high commensal bacteria. So, yes, both low levels and high levels of your normal gut microbiome bacteria can contribute to bloating. When there are too high levels of commensal bacteria in your gut, this can lead to excessive fermentation, especially if food isn't moving through your digestive tract efficiently. And this leads to bloating, belching, flatulence, and that pregnant bloat look. This can also be a sign of SIBO, which is an overgrowth of bacteria in the small intestine, and it can increase inflammation, histamine release, and gut permeability, which can all lead to increased bloating. The next type of dysbiosis and the most common form is an imbalanced levels of commensal bacteria. So this is where some of your bacteria are too low and some are too high. And with this, you'll get a mix of symptoms and dysfunction caused by both low and high bacteria, which can also lead to chronic bloating. So, what causes dysbiosis? Dysbiosis can be caused by a variety of different factors, but most commonly it's caused by a history of antibiotics or long-term use of herbal antimicrobials like oregano oil, proton pump inhibitors, a history of hormonal birth control, high exposure to toxins from mold or heavy metals, a diet low in a diversity of plant foods and fibers, a high processed or high fast food diet, long-term restrictive dieting such as a low carb diet, chronic stress, chronic constipation and slow motility, an overuse of probiotics, or even an excessively high fiber diet. The next most common root cause of chronic bloating that I see inside my one-on-one practice is an overgrowth of opportunistic or bad bacteria. On a GI map test, opportunistic bacteria are microbes that aren't necessarily pathogens, but when they overgrow, they can cause a lot of inflammation, a lot of digestive issues. They can increase bloating, and they can even become potentially pathogenic if they get out of hand. Similar to an overgrowth of normal bacteria, opportunistic bacteria can contribute to bloating by causing an excess fermentation of undigested carbs and fibers, and this process produces excess hydrogen, methane, and other gases that can cause a lot of bloating. They can impair the production of digestive enzymes and bile flow. They can contribute to leaky gut and increased inflammation. They can suppress the population of your beneficial bacteria that help protect your digestive system, and they can contribute to biofilm formation. Common triggers of an overgrowth of opportunistic bacteria in your gut can include a poor diet and lifestyle, a high sugar or high refined carbohydrate diet, a low fiber or lack of plant diversity diet, alcohol overuse, slow motility or chronic constipation, a history of antibiotics or proton pump inhibitors, gut infections or inflammation, environmental toxin exposure from mold, pesticides, or heavy metals, or even from travel and food poisoning. The next major root cause of bloating that I see inside my one-on-one practice are the presence of pathogenic organisms. And so these organisms are the true troublemakers and can be very problematic to your gut health, and they can often go undetected for many years. The first pathogenic organism is Helicobacter pylori, otherwise known as H. pylori. And H. pylori is a spiral-shaped bacteria that can infect the stomach lining. And while some people can carry it without symptoms or without any issues, In others who are susceptible, it can cause a lot of digestive distress, including bloating. Here's how. H. pylori reduces stomach acid production, leading to hypochlorhydria. It can delay your gastric emptying. It inflames the stomach lining and is a common cause of gastritis. H. pylori can damage the mucosal layer of the stomach, triggering discomfort, gas, and sensitivity to meals. H. pylori can disrupt your gut microbiome balance, and it's also been known to cause gastric cancer. Now, H. pylori is a very, very common gut infection. It's estimated that over 50% of the world's population harbors H. pylori. And like I mentioned, it's not always problematic in everyone. In small amounts, it can be protective. But if it's present and you're experiencing GI issues, it's usually part of the problem. And I see H. pylori present in about 80 to 90% of my clients. That's how common of a contributor to digestive issues H. pylori can be. The next major problematic pathogen that can contribute to bloating is Candida overgrowth. So, Candida is a type of yeast that naturally lives in small amounts in your mouth, gut, and other mucous membranes in your body. And in a balanced gut microbiome, Candida coexists peacefully with beneficial bacteria and even plays an important role in your immune health. But much like the bacteria in your microbiome, when the balance of Candida yeast is disrupted, Candida starts to overgrow and cause a lot of problems. And that's when symptoms like chronic bloating starts to show up. Candida can contribute to bloating by increasing fermentation in the gut. Candida likes to feed off of sugar and carbohydrates, and when it overgrows, Candida ferments these foods and produces excessive gases like carbon dioxide and acetaldehyde, leading to increased bloating, gas, and distension, especially after meals. Candida can also make dysbiosis worse. It can increase intestinal permeability, contributing to leaky gut and leading to increased inflammation and food sensitivities. And it can also slow down your gut motility. So, what causes Candida overgrowth? Candida overgrowth typically results from a weakened or suppressed immune system, disrupted gut microbiome, or lifestyle factors that can contribute to feeding yeast. So, common causes include a history of antibiotic use, high sugar or high carb diet, a history of hormonal birth control and copper IUDs, corticosteroids or immunosuppressive medications, chronic stress, high alcohol intake, unmanaged blood sugar or diabetes, low stomach acid, and overall poor digestive health, and an imbalanced gut microbiome. Candida is another very common root cause that I see in a lot of my clients, and that's because it often results from an imbalanced microbiome. And if you have digestive issues, there's a very high chance that your microbiome is imbalanced in some way, further increasing the risk of Candida overgrowth. The next type of pathogenic organisms that are a major root cause of chronic bloating are parasites. Parasites are organisms that live inside your body and steal your nutrients to survive. So, when they're in the gut, they can cause a wide range of symptoms, bloating being a very common one. So, here are the ways that parasites contribute to bloating. Parasites create gas producing waste products. So, parasites release toxic metabolic byproducts that can irritate the gut lining and cause excessive gas. Parasites disrupt the gut microbiome. Parasites increase inflammation and contribute to immune activation. And the immune system often responds aggressively to parasites, causing even more inflammation in the GI tract. Parasites can damage the intestinal lining. They've been known to burrow into the gut wall, causing pretty bad leaky gut. Parasites can also slow down your gut motility and cause a pretty severe diarrhea and constipation cycle. And parasites steal your nutrients. So, a lot of the nutrients that we need for good digestive health, enzyme production, stomach acid production, parasites can feed off of that, making your digestive health worse. So, what causes or increases your risk for parasite infections? So, contrary to popular belief, you don't have to travel to a tropical country to get parasites. Most people actually live with parasites in their body. They're very, very common, although they don't always necessarily cause problems. But if you are experiencing chronic GI stress and other chronic mysterious symptoms, chances are parasites are playing a role. And some of the most common ways we are exposed to parasites can be from contaminated food or water, international traveling, camping, poor hygiene, close contact with animals, pets, or livestock, swimming in contaminated lakes, rivers, or swimming pools, an overall weakened digestive system and immune health, living or working in daycare, schools, or group housing. Parasites can be pretty difficult to detect and they don't always show up on a GI map test. So, if I see a client who shows a lot of signs for parasite infections, we will often address it as part of their gut rebalancing protocol. The next major but often overlooked root cause of chronic bloating and IBS is mold toxicity. Mold produces mycotoxins, which are toxic substances that can wreak absolute havoc on your gut, your immune system, and your detox pathways, causing a ton of mysterious, chronic, frustrating symptoms in the body. And the tricky part about mold is that even if you don't see visible mold in your environment, mold spores and toxins can still be present in your environment and colonize in your body. And they can seriously disrupt not only your digestion, but lead to many other serious chronic health issues. Here's how mold can cause chronic bloating. Mold is known to disrupt your gut microbiome. Mycotoxins can wipe out your beneficial bacteria and promote the overgrowth of bad bacteria. Mold suppresses your stomach acid production and digestive enzyme production, weakening your overall digestion. Mold triggers histamine and mast cell reactions. Mold can slow down your bile flow and detox pathways. Mold causes leaky gut and serious inflammation in the body. Mold activates the nervous system and puts you in a constant fight or flight state. And mold is notorious for suppressing your immune function, leading to more susceptibility to an overgrowth of pathogenic and opportunistic organisms inside your gut. Mold can grow both indoors and outdoors, and you can be exposed to it through inhalation, ingestion, or it can be absorbed through your skin. And the tricky part is that mold doesn't always smell or appear visible, making it very difficult to detect as a potential root cause without proper lab testing. But the most common cause of mold toxicity is exposure to water damaged buildings. So this can be in your home, your work environment, gyms, or schools, and past and current leaks in ceilings, walls, basements, HVAC systems, or bathrooms, even if the leak has been repaired, can still harbor hidden mold behind the walls and under the flooring. And even if you aren't currently exposed to a moldy environment, even past exposure from years ago can still cause major problems to your health. This is why I always check for mold toxicity with my clients by using an organic acids test. I recently went through my own mold toxicity journey where I was living in hidden mold without realizing it and experienced a ton of health issues, including 24/7 daily bloat. And I recently made a video breaking down my full healing journey, how I detected the mold, the labs that I ran, and how I overcame it for good and got rid of my bloating. So if you want to check that out, I'll link the video here. So, these are probably the most common root causes of bloating that I see inside my one on one practice. But a few other contributors that I often see on my clients' lab results include gluten sensitivity, mineral deficiencies such as sodium, potassium, and zinc, which are important for stomach acid production, gut motility, and gut hydration. Other pathogenic and viral gut infections like C. diff, worms, Giardia, and E. coli, and a sluggish liver, gallbladder, and detoxification capacity. And after working with countless IBS clients who struggle with chronic bloating and a host of other symptoms, it's rarely ever just one of these imbalances causing their problems. Usually, when one imbalance is present, there's a few more to follow because they all contribute to the presence of each other. When your gut is a mess, it attracts gut bugs. And that's why it's so important to run comprehensive lab testing to get the full picture and make sure no stone is unturned. So, when I see a client who eats a clean, healthy diet, but it doesn't make any difference in their bloating, that's a pretty clear sign that there are one or more of these hidden metabolic imbalances inside their gut that's causing their chronic symptoms to act up uncontrollably and out of nowhere. Because these types of gut imbalances, it doesn't matter how healthy your diet is, a clean diet alone is not enough to fix the damage that these imbalances can cause inside your gut. And it requires a very specific and individualized support and intervention to truly heal from. So, how do you fix it? Like I said, healing from these types of imbalances is very individualized. There is no one size fits all solution. But with all of my clients, I take a rebalancing, holistic approach to reduce stress on the body, build up strength and resiliency, increase the healing resources of the body, and use targeted interventions to address and fix the specific root cause imbalances each client is individually dealing with. This includes gut healing dietary strategies, plenty of rest and optimizing sleep and circadian rhythm, nervous system regulation, supportive exercise and movement practices, optimizing detoxification, and customized nutritional supplement protocols to help correct and fix the imbalances that are causing dysfunction and symptoms in the body. And we also give it a lot of time, patience, and grace while we give the body the resources it needs to heal, rest, and start functioning properly again. And the reason why my clients always get results, break free from their chronic IBS and bloating, and finally feel like a normal person again after years of frustration is because we identify the underlying problems and take the right steps to fix it. It's as simple and straightforward as that. And what I wish more women who are struggling with debilitating and frustrating chronic bloating and IBS understood is that when you identify the underlying problem and fix the right things, healing is absolutely possible. My clients overcome chronic bloating every single day inside my Gut Well program. So, if you are experiencing a host of mysterious digestive symptoms with bloating that always acts up uncontrollably and out of nowhere, and you're ready to stop living in survival mode with your gut, It's time to dig deeper into the underlying root causes with functional lab testing. And if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you can learn more and apply via the link in the description box below. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you are interested in learning more root cause strategies for healing your gut. I'll see you in the next video.